With Daniel Logan at Armageddon Expo 2016 in Auckland. What's it like being back, bro?
It's very weird. I've never done a convention in Auckland yet, and now after 15 years of being gone, doing one here is like a reunion of not only family but friends.
Yeah,
so it's been awesome.
That's ideal, bro. So you've been in the acting business since you were 10 years old?
Yeah,
is that about it?
Yeah, 10, 11.
So how did that first come about, and how did you first get into acting?
I was playing rugby for White Matter Rugby Club, and my coach at the time, he was allowed to put 2 names down for a milk commercial.
Yep.
That Michael Jones was going to be starring in. So when I went along, they were like, "Oh, he's a little too white." So then they were like, "Well, hey, he's got a kind of cool personality.
Yep.
Why don't we give him another role?" So they're like, "Hey, kid, would you be able to dive into the mud?" I'm like, "Well, like this," and I seriously just jumps off my feet into the concrete of the White Matter Rugby Club's grounds,
yeah,
head first. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's perfect." And that's how my acting came about.
Yeah.
Just that one day. And then a lady from an agency in Australia, Saatchi & Saatchi,
yep,
she started giving me so much work. Like I did a Air New Zealand ad, I forgot the bread here. I did all the major stuff that you would
yep
do. And then she was like, "You know what, we need to get you an agent." And then that's when the agency came about, and then auditions.
Yeah. And so how did getting cast as Boba Fett come about?
My agent, again, she was only allowed to put 2 names down.
Yep.
And there's only like 3 big agencies in New Zealand, so I think they were all only allowed to put 2. So
yep,
she happened to put my name down as one of those kids.
Perfect.
I was meant to be playing an 8-year-old,
yep,
but I was 13 at the time. So I went along and downtown to, I forgot what hotel, and they made my nana and my mom stay outside the room and made me come in, and we basically had an interview like this.
Perfect.
But at the end of it, the casting director, Robin Gerland's like, "Do you have any special talents?"
Yeah.
So me, being a creative little guy I am, I'm like, "Oh, I know how to do the taiaha," which I never even knew how to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, swing a stick around and, oh, perfect. So she's like, "Okay, well, show me how to do the taiaha." And I'm like, "Well, do you have a stick?" Thinking she would not have one. She's like, "No, this is Star Wars. Just pretend like you've got one in your hands." So I'm running around this room, like pretending like I got the stick in my hand, like, "Ah."
Yeah.
And she's just sitting there laughing her ass off, videoing
awesome.
it. And that was my audition process. I now met the original guy who played Boba Fett in the original films.
Yep.
And he says, "Daniel, you auditioned out of 5,000 children worldwide. George Lucas probably needed to go toilet, or he needed to take a break, and he just happened to pause on your face when he needed to do that."
Yep.
He said, "When coming back, your face was the last face that he saw, so he's like, you know what, I'm done watching these things. Just call this kid, he would do."
Yeah.
And that's how.
It's crazy to think of that, though, like out of 5,000 people, it's just meant to be, man. Lightning struck.
I don't even think 5,000 people bought the lotto here in this country that year. You know, it's unbelievable. And the way that it's now changed my life. I went from being one of the poorest kids in school now to being able to not only take care of myself but my family too.
That's up.
And it's all through thanks to Star Wars, you know, and it's unbelievable.
Must be an amazing sort of family to belong to, though, the Star Wars family. You know, it's something that everybody holds in such high regard that it just must be trippy, man. Like.
No, it's great you use the word family because there's so many movies and so many generations of this.
Yeah.
But yet when we all get together, it's like, we do treat each other like family. You know, we know basically everyone, and then now with the new movies coming along, it's just bringing new family members to this franchise.
That's it.
And pretty much everyone I've met so far have just been wonderful people. You know, like
that's cool.
Everyone's been pretty legit.
That's amazing.
I mean, the guy who plays Darth Vader. A funny story about him, we were at a convention. He has one good eye, one bad eye. One of them actually goes cross. So they asked me if this R2D2 company asked me, "Can you do the R2D2 for us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, give me a turn." I ride him up to the table of this guy who plays Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And he never used to like lean over the table and interact with people. He just used to sit there like, "Okay, here you go, and sign your autograph."
Yeah.
Well, this one time he decided he's going to interact with an R2D2 unit. As he's about to like lean over the table to go hi and pat the R2D2, I open this flap in the middle of this R2D2 unit, and this mist water spray just comes spraying out, and it hits him right in the good eye.
Yeah.
So now he's like, "Oh no!" And like you just see, he turns bright red, dude, and he gets mad.
Yeah.
So I hide behind this curtain, and then he's like, "Who did that? Who did that?" Dude, he stopped talking to me for like a good 3 years.
Oh wow!
Just because of that incident. I apologize every time I saw him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just funny. You know, I'm like still like the little kid of the family that's the mischievous, naughty one that people have to put up with.
Doesn't change it. You can't get rid of that, man. So when you got the role of Boba Fett, Did you understand like the importance of the character to fans? Because I mean, he's such an iconic character, such a small amount of screen time in his armor, but he just had an effect that like so many other characters didn't have. Like,
it's amazing because people ask me all the time, like, hey, did Boba Fett die in the Sarlacc pit? And the only reactions you can really come back with is, well, the fans were the ones who created this character.
Yeah.
So if he died in your eyes, then he's dead. If not, he will live on forever. The character is only the character. The fans are the ones who make this character more iconic than really what
Bring
he is.
Bring it to life.
Yeah, because I mean, the group that he was surrounded in was a bounty hunting group.
Yeah.
Now learning about it all with Bosk and the robot character.
Yeah.
I mean, these were all other bounty hunter characters, but it just happened to be that Boba Fett was the one that took off the most because the fans attracted to him. Because I'd never seen Star Wars when I got the movie.
Yeah.
When I went to my first convention in Indianapolis, they gave me 6 bodyguards.
Wow.
Big, huge bodyguards. And they put them all around me in a circle. So as I took a step, they all stepped like a bubble around me.
Yeah.
And no one was allowed to touch me, take a photo of me, like breathe on me, no nothing.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, wow, this thing's huge. Like, fresh out of New Zealand, never been in anything like that before.
Totally.
And it's like, wow. And people just, running across the roads to see you, like take a picture with you, and you're like, oh. And that's when it clicked, like, wow, I got a good character.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. An epic character, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just amazing. So what was it like for you working with the likes of like George Lucas, Ewan McGregor, and of course Tim? Because I know you had quite a solid relationship with Tim and the...
I love Tim. So growing up in West Auckland, you don't really get that famous activity. We had a couple people from Shoreland Street in our neighborhood, but that was about it. So when it came to Tim, I was super excited. So the first day I met him, he walked on set, and he's like, oh, hey, you gonna be playing my son, or I'm gonna be playing your dad? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, you call me dad, and I'll call you son. I'm like, all right, dad.
Yeah.
And then he looked back at me, like, smiles, oh, all right, son. And we just always had that father-son bond.
Yep. And that came across on screen though,
because it was Tim, just that power from Tim being like, you know what, if we're gonna be father and son in the movie, we should be father and son when we're off.
Perfect.
When you're at home. So growing up without a father, he would call my house, and my brothers and sisters would pick up and they'd be like, hey, is Daniel my son there? So they were like, well, hey, you haven't been in our lives all our lives. Like, collect, hang up on him, So he'd call back like, no, this is Tim O'Wita Morrison. And they're like, oh, shit, hey, he's calling, you know? Then the excitement kicked in. George, you know what? It's funny because I was so young, he was able to like captivate my imagination in ways that I'd never thought possible because of the words he used.
Yeah.
So like when it came to the asteroid, it wasn't just like, oh hey, you're gonna be flying through some rocks, flying in space, like you gotta just dodge him.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, there's gonna be like a Jedi, and it's gonna be chasing you and your father in your spaceship, and you're gonna be flying through these asteroid fields, and asteroids are gonna be flying at you and have to dodge him and fly through them and blow them up.
Yeah.
Can you do that? And I'm like, my imagination just flew. I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I started already imagining what it was like to be in an asteroid field in a spaceship getting chased.
Amazing.
Which allowed my that energy to flow through talent.
Yeah.
And he was always able to use at the end of the movie when Jango Fett got his head chopped off.
Yep.
I had no clue he got his head chopped off.
Wow.
It wasn't until the movie that I saw Jango Fett got his head chopped off that I realized that's why I picked the helmet up and put it to my head.
Yep.
George Lucas actually had almost forgotten about that scene, and then he grabbed me aside and he goes, hey, we just need to do this one quick take.
Cool.
It took like 1 or 2 takes for me to put it to my head, couple seconds.
Yep.
And it was done.
Amazing.
Didn't think it was going to have any impact in the movie at all. And it just happened to be one of the most impactful scenes
in the whole film.
In the whole scene.
Yeah.
But yet, because of George Lucas' way of being able to give direction to kids and children, it helped me and made it more powerful.
And that's an amazing talent, man, because there's the old adage, never deal with like kids and animals.
Yeah,
but, like,
hardest things.
That's it. You just had a way, eh?
And then with Ewan McGregor was such a wonderful man, dude. Like, he had a child on set, was 6 years old, and she already spoke 5 different languages.
Wow.
But so not only was he an actor and he was doing his day-to-day job, but he was also a present father, and he was in his daughter's life.
Yeah.
So she was young enough to be able to come on set, but he was still tutoring her, teaching, and being present at the same time. And for me, not having that bond, it really made me realize, wow, what a wonderful man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he still has time for his family,
That's
even
amazing.
with a chaotic life like this.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just he was really a wonderful guy. Actually, one of the reasons I'm in the United States is because he wrote me a letter for my immigration.
Oh wow!
And a handwritten letter, you
That's
know.
amazing.
It's like sweet guy.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
Of course, in Attack of the Clones, there was the scenes where there was hundreds of you on screen. What was that like seeing for the first time to see just like your face plastered on all these bodies, like multiple versions of you?
Well, that actually sucked, dude, because I had to sit in every single one of those positions.
Yep.
Every single one, because every facial expression was meant to be different, because all the clones were different. When they all looked, it would be weird if they all looked to the left, all looked to the right, right?
Yeah.
So I had to look one time to the right, one time to the left,
Yeah,
you know,
up and
like they're
down
talking up and down, walk around their little areas. That took 2 14-hour days.
Wow.
Of just me sitting in these different positions. Like,
Yep.
okay, and take, boom, okay, thank you,
Yep.
and move to the next. But because I was so short,
Yep.
my legs and my feet weren't able to reach down to the next one. So I was literally working out, having to press myself between these two different things because.
Wow.
And then every single time we did a take, they had to change the headpiece around, the colorization of the headpiece. So one of them would be red, silver, whatever,
Yep.
and then the next one would be silver, red. So they had to
That's it.
change that up too, but that was hard. And then when you saw it was only on the scene for like maybe a quarter of a second.
That's it.
That was sad.
That's crazy.
I thought after doing 2 14-hour days, I was going to have a whole lot in the movie, you know? And then when it was just like poof, poof, I was like, oh, that was it. That's it.
That's crazy, eh? So it's good. It's cool though, because again, explains the whole Clone Troopers thing
Exactly,
really
and,
well.
and the forward movement of where Jango Fett came from, or where Boba Fett came from, and technically where he's headed to.
Yeah.
Because people ask me all the time now, like, well, hey, like, do you think you played like the original Boba Fett when it comes to like him being older, or if they did one in Episode 8? And for me, I really liked him.
Yeah.
So I've started like telling people like, no, like when you think about it, it wouldn't be me. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, he's a clone of Jango Fett. Jango Fett is the original clone.
Yeah.
So it would come to an age group where he would end up turning into looking like Jango Fett, right?
Yeah.
If we did it in the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it. So maybe 40 years down the track.
Yeah,
then
but
you'd
I
be
can do
older
it up
Boba.
until that point. I'm saying I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, I can still work.
Yeah.
But up until a certain point.
Yeah, that's it, man. So yeah, I mean, moving on to like 2010, you're again in the role of Boba Fett with the Clone Wars animated series. What was that like for you, like doing voiceover work compared to like physical acting? Like,
You know what? Being an actor who's physical.
Yeah.
You know, as you see, I'm always moving. It was like I had to make myself into a straitjacket to be able to make that strength of that words.
Yeah.
Because when you move, it loses power.
Yeah.
You lose that strength of a character that is in a situation that you're not in, but you have to imagine and pretend that you're actually playing that part in that time.
Yeah.
So for me, that was so hard because I used my body to get away with a lot. You know what I mean? That's a lot of my movement comes from my body, and
it's that character,
expression.
like you say, you know, you're moving in, it's the way you move your arms, your head, everything,
Exactly.
your face.
Yeah. So not being able to use that, it made it so much harder. But then the voice guys were so awesome, man. Like D. Bradley Baker, he's very, very good at doing a lot of stuff. He took like 3 hours out of one night, and we just FaceTimed together.
Cool.
And he just FaceTimed me a couple of the scripts, and we went over them, and he helped me to get to certain pitches, or you know, a certain way I was saying it. He gave me a different way of being able to, you know, look at it, or you know, different tools to take into the day instead of just going to one tool and hoping that works.
That's cool. That's epic, man. So moving on to more recent stuff, you had a cameo in the latest Sharknado 4 movie. Like, what was it like working on what has definitely become like a franchise that's become a modern day like B-movie sort of like classic? Like,
you know, it's funny because they're actually calling for Peter May, who plays Chewbacca.
Yep.
And they called my manager, and he called Peter's wife, and Peter's wife's like, no, he's busy, but why don't you ask him if they want Daniel?
Yeah.
So then it's like, I'll throw a sweet, you know, I'm like, oh, good looking out.
Yeah.
So then they give me a call like, oh, he would do it? And I'm like, oh, I'll do it, why not? It's a paying job, sweet, I'll take the couple bucks. So when it came to doing it, the guy calls me, he's like, hey, look, we don't have a script, but I'll write you a script on my flight back, and you'll have it tomorrow. I'm filming, and I'm like, one day to learn a script. So he'd written this huge long script, dude, and none of the lines made sense. I'm like, oh. So I sat there for about 20 minutes rewriting all the lines to like make it flow better.
Yep.
So now I'm trying to have to not only I started to remember his lines, but that was so bad. I was like, all right, I gotta make my own lines.
Yeah.
So then I went from trying to learn his lines to trying to learn my lines, which made it so bad that I couldn't remember any of the lines.
Yeah.
But then I found out. I went into the costume room, and there was these beautiful stewardess-looking ladies, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently we'd gone in and like used someone else's set while they were at lunch. So
really?
all I had was an hour block to do that
Wow.
take during the time when people actually were at lunch.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it was so nerve-wracking at that. I'm like, what do you mean? Now we're using now it's not even our set, you know what I mean? So now I'm even more nervous.
Yeah.
I just said, the editor was very good.
Yeah.
The editor of Sharknado did a very good job, because I was a little nervous of how it was going to turn out.
Definitely. I mean, I think the cool thing is with those films is that they're so bad that they are amazing.
Yeah.
like my girlfriend, she refuses to watch Sharknado. She's like, I don't want to watch that shit. And I'm just like, do it. You'll just laugh your ass off the whole time. It's amazing.
Well, I didn't get it either, and I'm trying to it's one of my first times back out acting, so I'm trying to be like real serious and good actor. Like, no, we don't want any of that. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? They're like, we just want you to do it like this, and that threw me off even more.
Yeah.
Because no, don't take this too seriously. Like,
Yeah.
you'll ruin it. I'm like, well, what?
It's so tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I'm just like, whatever,
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you ask.
Exactly. That's epic, man. And finally, do you have any updates on the long-awaited Star Wars Underworld TV series? Do you know?
No, well, now that Disney's got it,
Yeah.
you never know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
When George Lucas had it, I knew that I had a chance of being in the TV show.
Yeah.
But now that they're coming out with all these different movies, I think they're just going to try and fit in around when it's best of, okay, hey, are we having a quiet period from these movies? Should we push out a TV show?
Yeah.
People more sitting at home watching TV. They don't want to go to movie theaters.
Yeah.
So I think that's when they'll start adding in more cartoons, more TV shows, more stuff like that. But why these movies are doing good right now, I think they're going to produce them like Marvel.
Yeah. Just keep on pumping them out. Yeah.
I mean, if they did it right, I was thinking, if they did, say, Boba Fett, Bosk, and then someone all different individual movies, and then they bring out, Star Wars, the Bounty Hunters, and then a whole Bounty Hunter movie.
See, that would be amazing.
Right? The Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they did Iron Man, Captain America, and then
bring them all together.
And then that's what I think we should call Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then you have the Boba Fett movie, and you can have all these spin-off different movies.
Yeah.
But then once every 4 years or 3 years, you bring out Star Wars,
That's it.
and you have those characters and more,
Yeah.
all mixing and mingling together in the world of Star Wars. But then you see these standalone worlds of their own.
Yeah.
I've become a big geek, man.
I know.
Been gone for 15 years, huh?
It's great.
We definitely would not have talked about this in Massey, huh?
Yeah. I suppose that's the thing as well. It's like you sort of lived your life with so many conventions and so many, you're surrounded by it now. What can you do but
It's
love
my
it?
life. Dude, it's funny because you go from people being like, oh, hey, that kid's Daniel Logan. And you're like, oh, who's that? To oh, he played Boba Fett in Star Wars. Like, I've got to meet him. Yeah, hey, nice to meet you.
Exactly.
So you really realize who Daniel Logan is life. But Boba Fett, that guy, he has a lot of power and pull.
That's it. I mean, you see the amount of Mandalorian armor that's walking around this place, man. And every year there's just there's dozens of Mandalorian soldiers, whether they're Boba Fett or they're variations. Amazing.
So that group is actually called the Mandalorian Mercs.
Yep.
I love those guys, man. They're fun, and they're still a group who's not too serious.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. If you're able to dress up and have fun, then that's what cons are all about.
And that's the cool thing with the 501st Legion. It's just they're having fun for good.
And they do stuff for charity too.
Yeah.
Which is awesome on my behalf, because you try to give back so much as you can.
That's it.
But when you have a whole bunch of group of people in lots of different places, they're able to reach those people a lot easier than I am.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, thank you very much for taking some time.
You're welcome,
good to
my
catch
brother.
back up, bro.
Sorry that my Movember isn't so big as yours, but I still have next month to work on it.
That's it, man. It's good.
I'll keep you updated on my social media.
Sounds good. Cheers, Daniel.
Dude, you're welcome.
Thanks, brother.
Welcome.